On my phone. Sweet. Yeah, I like it when there's not a buyer's agent because now I get to be a bully a little bit. And now I'm not like a jerk, but I can make a buyer without an agent do whatever I want. But also, a lot of buyer's agents even, unfortunately, they're not real busy, right? I think we talked about this last time. 3/4 of licensed agents in Utah didn't close a transaction last year. Okay, so a lot they need business. They're eager for this business. So a lot of times they'll just give you whatever you want anyway. They'll try to encourage their client to adjust their offer to something that your seller will want because they want it to go quick and easy for them too. But generally, I want to try to generate offers from unrepresented buyers. Okay? Because here at this, let's see, unrepresented offers. Here at this brokerage, you can't double-side a transaction anyway, right? Now that was new for me when I came to Westfield. I had done a bunch of double-sided deals, but here we can't do it. That's fine. That's good. That's great. I think it does help me keep my mentality in I'm representing and thinking about only the seller, right? Because it changes the way I approach an open house. Because what was the purpose of the open house? We talked about this. Sell the house. Here's the problem. Well, actually, we'll get down to this. The fourth goal, the last of all the goals, is like to pick up clients, right? And now this, for me, this is how it should be. If I am the listing agent doing my own open house, this is the priority of my goals for the open house. Okay, first, I want to generate offers. 2, I want those offers to be better than they would have otherwise been. 3, I want to generate offers from unrepresented buyers. 4th is I want to pick up clients. Okay, here's the tricky part. You guys will be hosting open houses for listings that aren't your own. What is your number one goal? Right there. Okay, so this is where it gets a little bit tricky. Because how do you think the experience for a buyer coming through a home that doesn't have an agent or does have an agent? I was telling Cameron this morning I wrote an offer for someone that came through one of my open houses 2 Saturdays ago. They made an offer on that listing with another agent. I had told them when they came through, they asked me some questions. I had told them that I am unable to represent people on my own listings, like buyers on my own listings. They went out, they found an agent, made an offer, didn't work out. They fired that agent and called me and asked me if I'd represent them. Okay, and now we're looking for homes. Okay, but I believe that the reason that happened and that it happens, I close about 3 transactions a year from my own open houses. Okay. So they end up not buying my listings. So my listing wasn't the right fit for them, but they want me to help them find something. Yeah, so good question. But I believe that the reason is, since my goal is not to get them as a client, my goal is to give them a good experience at the house. Guess what I don't get? I don't get commission breath. Have you guys heard that term? Okay, you don't get commission breath if my goal isn't even to pick them up. My goal is to sell the house. So my number one goal is give them a good experience in this home. Make them feel comfortable. Make the open house, seamless and inviting, and the environment be one that they feel comfortable in. That ends up leading to actually like a good amount of clients for me. Right? So I'm doing $30,000, $60,000 extra a year in commission from my own open houses. And if you kind of approach it this way, I believe that's why it ends up working out for me a lot. Okay, because when you go to an open house, whether it's your own or someone else's, with the goal of I want to pick up clients, generally the experience is not the same for the people coming through. Okay, so let's talk about. Let's talk about from the experience side of things. Let's talk about how you want to prep for your open house. Okay, So first of all, directional signs. Who thinks those are helpful? They are. They are. Tons of the traffic that I've gotten over the years is people just driving around, they see signs.
Do you put like balloons or a blow out thing or something?
I have flags that I put at the house. So like I said, my team is Wow House. So I have big tall flags that say open house and Wow House at the bottom of them. I have big tripod metal signs that are bright blue, say open house, Wow House on them with directional arrows that I put out all over the place. So I use most open houses. I use anywhere from 6 to 10 directional signs, and then I use 3 to 4 flags at the house as well. Okay, so I don't do balloons. I have, and I don't know that there's a reason I would or wouldn't do it at this point. It just depends on what my schedule is looking like. If I want to take an extra, whatever it is, 30 minutes to get over to Zerkers and get some balloons. Sandberg is who does my signs, my flags, my for sale signs. They do great. They're up in Sandy. I think they're in Sandy. They're great though. Yes. I don't know. When I got my first batch of signs several years ago, 2020, pricing was pretty comparable. The pricing's gone up a bit, but I assumed that just everybody's has. And they've got all of my templates and everything there, so I'll just shoot them an email. Hey, can you get me 3 more signs or whatever? So I don't know.
UCAR also has just generic signs that you can buy.
Just for sale ones.
Yep.
Or open house ones, yeah.
Yeah, if you want it branded and things like that, you have to go to like Sandberg signs
Yep.
or Alpha Graphics, something like
that. Yeah.
Do you think that arm signs as opposed to just, I don't know what they're called, signs?
Are you talking about like the for sale sign in the yard?
Yeah, why do you use, because in my neighborhood I saw 2 different ones, and I just wonder, what's the cost,
Yeah. So one versus another? So I've gotten, and again, like this all changes a little bit, like the busier you get. I've gotten to the point where I want my life to be easier, take things off my plate so I can focus on the things that generate more business and make me more money. So so when I have, so for example, about 6 months ago, I did another order for sale signs. And they delivered it to this person that I hire that lives in Sandy, that she has I don't have any of my signs. She has all my signs. And when I need a sign install, I just shoot an order over and they go install it wherever. So they store them all. The posts are theirs, but I like the white because my signs are like bright blue. They're just clean and simple. Just says for sale. At the bottom it says Wow House with a phone number, and then like KW Westfield down there. But I like the contrast of that bright blue on the white arm sign. Mm-hmm. So it's like a little 90-degree angle metal stake. So once they pull it up out, like you can't tell it was there unless it was. I mean, if it was in there for like a month, sometimes the grass under it is like a little bit of a different color than the grass around it, but it doesn't like damage their yard.
That's probably preferable to others just to the wind, particularly high or high.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my guys, they zip tie the signs on every time anyway. I've seen signs broken and fallen down, all that kind of stuff, and that stuff happens sometimes. But anyway, yes.
Until, like, I'm not in a position to buy signs. Are there signs here that we could, like, borrow?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, both for open houses and for your listings.
So when I have someone host an open house for me, like I said, I do all of my own unless there's some reason I can't. So 2 weeks ago, I had 2 open houses in the same day. I staggered them, did one in Santa Quin, and then drove up and did one in Highland. I was able to do both of them, but sometimes I can't. So when I have someone do my own open houses, I have them come and get my signs. So Kyle Larson, who's been in some of these classes before, he's done an open house for me, and I just had all of my signs in my office, and he came and grabbed them out of my office. He took my flags, my mallet for the stakes, all that kind of stuff. So if depending on who you're doing an open house for, if they've got all that stuff, borrow theirs. So, okay. But what you want to do ahead of time is, well, first of all, if your open house starts at 11, when should you be getting there? What did you say, 11:15? He's joking. I had someone do an open house for me. They got to the open house 15 minutes after it was supposed to start with no flyers, no directional signs, nothing. Please don't do that. That person is never going to get another open house from me. But so you want to be there. How early did you guys say? I think that's a little bit early personally, because I think 30 minutes is plenty. Because what are you doing? So the minute that I get to my open house, I go in, I put my Bluetooth speaker down. I have a big Bluetooth speaker, right? I put that down. I play just sort of like easy rock. Ends up being like Fleetwood Mac, like, that kind of stuff. I bring a candle that is not the kind that is going to, when you walk into a home and it's like they're trying to cover something up. You don't want it to be that strong and that kind of smell, but nice smells is good. Okay. So I like to have a candle going in the kitchen, so it's not going to hit them in the face when they walk in the door. But I like to be so I get in, I get the candle lit. So I've got about 30 minutes for the smell to start filling the room. I throw a Bluetooth speaker in, I wander around, I open all the blinds, I turn all the lights on, whatever I'm doing, making sure the temperature is right. So I spend it that only takes me about 10 minutes. Okay. I get my sign-in sheet on the counter. I get my flyers out on the counter, get my business cards out on the counter, get all that stuff ready to go. And then it does, depending on how many signs you've got, depending on where you are, it'll take, 10 to 15 minutes to get out and put all the signs out. And the way that I do it is I start at the home and go out. Okay. So I'll put my flags up, and then I'll start to go out and do directional signs, getting farther and farther, and then get back. Okay. So I used to, and I don't anymore. I don't even bring bottles of water anymore because no one takes them. The only people that take them are kids, and then now you've got a mess. Mm-hmm. So I used to, I don't anymore. Sometimes I'll bring a bowl of high chews or something like that, just a small candy people just grab one or two of. But generally, honestly, I just don't do that anymore, really. I just find it's another task that doesn't necessarily change the experience or the outcome. Okay. But ahead of time, I've got a listing I just put up a couple days ago. This is the address. So what you want to do ahead of time, again, is, and I know, I'm sorry you can't see this super well because the screen's kind of washed out, but you want to plan out where are my signs going. You don't want to get there and be like, all right, let me go figure out where I'm going to put these. There should be preparation to all this stuff, okay? So this is Redwood Road. This is up in Riverton, all right? So this is Redwood Road. So you for sure want signs on Redwood roads, right? So I put one here, just north of the street that they're going to turn in on. And I put one here, just south of it on the opposite side. Okay, so I need two signs here. There's a little street. Let's see.
So is this half a
Sorry, here's the street right here. What's that?
Is this
Oh, this is close. This is close. So, you don't necessarily need to go far distance-wise. What you want to do is you want to bring traffic from the main thoroughfares. That's what you're trying to do, okay? So since Redwood is the closest, this is actually the road right here. You can't even really see it. It kind of curves in through here, and then it's just a little cul-de-sac, okay? So I want one here, okay? There's a street right here that comes through this way, so I want one here as well, just on this side of the road, because people that come down here, they may have missed anything I've got over here. So I'm going to throw one here. And then obviously I put one here pointing the traffic this way, then one here going this way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and again, plan these things out ahead of time. Don't get there and then start scrambling trying to figure out what you're going to do. And I will tell you that there are a ton of agents that they're showing up and figuring it out. And you can kind of tell. Okay, so that's the absolute first thing that I do is I plan out. And when I have agents on my team that are kind of new to how we do this, I will sit down with them and we will print out and plot out, because they don't know these areas that they're going sometimes. They're doing an open house for me or for somebody else. We plot out, here's where your signs are going to go. Okay. The next thing you should do to be ready is we're going to go look. Well, so you want to do a little bit of research on the neighborhood right around you, right? Know what's available. But you also want to know kind of the general, let's do this. So I'm going to do a couple searches, actually. So the first search we're going to do is going to be, because this isn't Riverton, right? So I'm going to search Riverton. Okay, we're at just over $600,000. We've got 5 bedrooms, about just under a third of an acre. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and find out, okay, what is the price of everything with 5 bedrooms or more? Okay, there's 55 of them. I want to see how we compare to homes that have 5 bedrooms or more. So the cheapest is $495, right? So we're a little bit above that, but there are 55 homes. There's ours right there. Nope. Next one. There we are. So there's only about 12 homes cheaper in all of Riverton that have 5 bedrooms. Okay. And if you look here, we're 0.30. We are the biggest lot of all of those, except for this one, which was built in 1963 and probably has not been updated at all. Okay. So again, it's good for you to know just the basics. All right. In Riverton, 5-bedroom homes on over a quarter acre, we're really well priced. Okay, we got paid off solar, bunch of things, which is cool too. But you want to know like the quick and easy measurables. Size of the home, 5-bed. Size of the lot, over quarter acre. We're really competitively priced when it comes to those things. Okay, but then the second search I want to do is like my more immediate area. What am I fighting with within like, let's go like half a mile. Okay, so here's everything that's available. What do you see? $3 million plus homes, and then 2 of the other 3 are more expensive. Okay, so this is it. 8 homes. Here we are right here. So this is what's available within a half a mile right now. It is really good for you to know this going in, because again, the goal is to sell the home, to generate the offers. When you approach it this way, it doesn't, there's not this like, what's the term that everyone, all the young peeps use? I'm getting old. Thirsty. You're not so thirsty. But you want to avoid that, right? You want to avoid like the desperation, the tone in the voice that changes, the energy level that gets all awkward and uncomfortable. Okay, if you can dial it back, and my goal is to give people a good experience here to help sell the home, you'll be surprised how often that translates into people really liking you and wanting to talk to you down the road as well. Okay, but so this is all in preparation for the open house, knowing this. And what I do is I have my laptop out on the kitchen counter with these searches pulled up. I can show people, I can talk to people as they're coming through and as we're talking.
Is that common?
I don't know.
Okay.
Probably not. I mean, I don't see it a lot in open houses that I go through with clients when we end up, having a bunch of homes to see. So we're hitting some open houses on a Saturday in between scheduled showings. I wouldn't say it's common, but again, why is it not common? Because most of the people, the vast majority of the agents hosting open houses, it's not their open house. They're not the listing agent. They're not like trying to sell the house. They're not trying to give this great experience. They're trying to pick up a client. My phrase I use all the time with my own clientele is realtors are vultures. I know who we are. I know why we have the reputation we have. I know why when no one wants to talk to us when they come into an open house. It's because they've been proven right. They've learned that that's the case. Okay, it's similar to when you go to you say you worked for a builder, right? You did? When you go into like a model home, the energy from the builder's agent in the model home, it's so different than when you go to an open house and an agent that is sitting the open house is not the listing agent. It's different because guess what the model home agent is trying to do? They're trying to sell the homes. So they're friendly, they're low key, they're charming, right? It's different.
Unless you find out that there's some other agents not hired.
What's that?
Unless you find out there's some other agents hired.
Yes, exactly.
Then
Then you're just like,
you just hope they go away.
yeah, go away. You're right. But again, the experience is different, okay? And that's what we're trying to do. So is this common? I would say no. But part of that's because most of the agents sitting open houses aren't doing it with the goal of selling the house. Okay. Do you guys have any questions so far on any of this stuff? I mean, this stuff's pretty basic.
So you're just saying that, like, let's say you said, hey, Ethan, you go work this open house for me on Saturday. So you're just saying that when you ask somebody to go do that for you, are you asking any agent or just somebody on your team to go work that for you? How do you do that? Because to me, that would be a great opportunity to really service anybody that walks through the door and try to sell a house just because.
Right.
Just, to service everybody, including the person that you're sitting house with.
Yes.
Why would somebody not try to sell the house? That's
Desperation. Honestly, I think that's what it comes down to. Everyone's self-interested, I think, for the most part.
Why would you even go sit there anyway, just for leads?
Yeah, that's the only reason. Agents who aren't busy and don't have, agents who aren't busy and need business, like it's a way for them to pick up leads. They're hoping unrepresented buyers come through. And we have more unrepresented buyers coming through open houses now than probably ever before, ever since the commission change a year ago.
What happens if they walk in there and they say, we want to buy this, will you write this up? Then do you have to go straight to, I'd have to go to you and say, you need to write this up, or what?
So meaning if you're the open house agent,
I'm working for another.
Yeah, you're working it for somebody else, and someone says they want to write an offer. If I was someone sitting in open house that is not mine, and a buyer comes through that does not have an agent, asks me to write up an offer, be like, great, I'd be happy to help you. And then you just from that moment are acting like you are going to represent them.
Walk in a lot saying, hey, we can't meet up with our agent today, so we're just.
Yeah, that's fairly common. Like, hey, I mean, I ask them to fill out the sign-in sheet, right? I don't do it first thing. I sort of like let them wander a little bit. Hey, before you take off, if you'll just and I'll leave you alone. If you have an agent especially, I'll leave you alone. If you don't have an agent, I'm not going to bug you. My brokerage actually doesn't allow us to represent both parties in a transaction anyway. I say that a lot because that like walls come down really quickly. Like, oh, he's not trying to, represent me. Yeah, I say, if you have any questions, have your agent reach out. Yeah. But a lot of times I will reach out to them directly, like the following Monday to follow up. If they told me they have an agent, a lot of times they don't. It's not that they have someone in mind that they think they would use, but that's not the same thing. They have someone they know that they might use. But you guys, what you got to understand was when the market shifted a couple of years ago, people got a lot pickier about who they used for their agent. People started getting pickier because now they need someone who can get the job done, someone that can negotiate for them, right? So what happened is, I believe, the reason we got so many agents doing no transactions is people feel like that with the market being the way that it is, they can't afford to hire their aunt who does 3 homes a year anymore. They can't afford to have their brother's best friend who is actually an accountant but just has his license, hasn't done a transaction in 14 months. Those have kind of like dried up a little bit, and now those people are going and finding an agent who can actually represent them well. And that's why it's important that you know how to pitch your value. Like what's your value add for these people to hire you, right? It's really important that you know that. And if you do these kinds of things, and you can talk to, when you're like, oh, have you been looking in this area? Oh, okay, you have been looking in this area. So you probably saw this one down the street that's at $629 and this other that's at $699. So you would know that we're actually the cheapest in the area, especially for the lot size. When you can say those kinds of things, right? Like this person knows their job, right? It's not just like hey, welcome. Let me know if you have any questions, right? Like that's what most open houses are. Have you been through an open house? Go. I will say, I will give you homework tomorrow, if you can. Tomorrow, take a couple hours and go hit some open houses. All of this stuff I've told you, none of them will be doing it. Especially if it's not their own listing. Because again, what's their goal? Their goal is they're trying to pick up clients. That's the main reason a lot of people do open houses. But if you are the listing agent, you have a fiduciary duty to the seller, not unrepresented buyers. So I think in my class a couple weeks ago, you were here, I think. I had a listing that we closed in a couple weeks in Springville. We listed it at 835. I had 27 groups of people come through my open house. Ended up with only 3 offers, right? And we are past financing and appraisal. We are going to be closing at 900 with no BAC. We're not paying a buyer agent. Even though they have an agent, they are going to pay their own agent. Okay? And there's one big reason. I do my open houses short. 2 hours only. Why?
Everybody sees everybody else.
Everybody sees everybody else. Even if half the people that come through are neighbors who just want to see the house, everybody walking through doesn't know that. All they see is potential competition. So, yeah, better offers. First, I want to generate offers, but the open house is a way to make sure those offers are better than they would have otherwise been. If this person comes through the open house in a private showing, they're the only one in there, they like it, they want to make an offer, is it going to be as good as someone that came through an open house and was tripping over people, having to wait, let someone down a hallway to walk? No, that offer is going to be better. Even if they're the only offer, it will be better than it would have otherwise been. Okay, so that's the goal of everything that you're doing, is to try to generate better offers, right? Generate offers and better offers. Sometimes better offer means I'm not paying an agent commission, right? Now, we're not trying to train our clients to avoid paying commissions. But if we've got multiple offers and one of them isn't asking us to pay a commission, great. Now that's more work for me as a listing agent, right? Have an unrepresented buyer. So Cameron, why is it more work for you as a listing agent when the buyer does not have an agent?
I have to do everything for the buyer.
In terms of what?
Well, I need to make
Because you're not representing them.
I need to make sure they're doing everything.
That's what it is.
When they're like, I want to write an offer, then it's like, great, now I get to write the offer.
Yep.
Because you don't know how to do it or what to put in it. And then I need to make sure that you have a title company, which I'm just going to push mine on you. I need to make sure you have a lender, which I'll push mine if you don't. There's just so many more things that I need to do and check in on to make sure it's moving forward.
You got to babysit, right? You got to babysit. You got to.
Yeah, I'm.
So now we actually can, in your listing agreement, there's a spot in the listing agreement where you agree to, if we have an unrepresented buyer, I'm going to ask for more commission because I have extra work to do.
And I do that.
So do I. How much extra do you tack on?
I'm between 1 and 1.5%.
That's it. I usually do half of whatever the amount we were offering a buyer agent was.
Yeah, so if I ask for 3%, my goal is to get 1.5%.
Yep. Okay, because it is extra work. Now, you're not representing the buyer. You don't pretend that you are. Okay. And we don't, my life is easier if there's a buyer's agent, right? I'm totally happy to encourage my clients and fight for my clients to pay for a buyer's agent. But if we can get multiple offers, now I can get people to lower their commissions and stuff like that to win. It's different, right? These people were going to have to win. They knew we had multiple offers, so they said, we'll pay our own realtor. Right? Is that common? No. But again, the whole point of that open house is I want those offers to be better. I want there to be more competition or the illusion of more competition. So I list my homes always on Wednesday night, Thursday morning on the MLS. And then I don't allow showings until the open house. So I go into Aligned and I block off everything up until the minute the open house starts. And then I ask my clients, I say, hey, I want you gone all day, starting 45 minutes before the open house. My open house is at 11. You need to be gone at 10:15, and you need to plan to be gone until 8 o'clock. Because I'm just going to approve every showing request. So I actually went back to that open house in Springville that we had a bunch of people. I went back 3 times that day to show unrepresented buyers that hadn't been able to make the open house. They had seen signs as they were driving by. Later in the day, they drove back around to check it out, called me from the sign.
Was it one of those a successful offer?
So it was someone that I went back to show it to, but it's because their agent was out of town. Their agent called me, said, "Hey, I had clients come through your open house. I'm gone. They want to bring their parents to come and check this out." Or no, sorry, their kids. They are the parents. They want to bring their kids to come check this out. But are you willing to show it to them? So I went back for them, even though they were represented. They had an agent. Okay, but again, the whole point of this is to get better offers, get more offers. Okay, again, if you keep that in mind.
Like if you say offers coming in until, do that? We're accepting offers until, or
I mean, in this market, not really. Just respond as they come.
offers, right?
Yeah.
So did you tell them, hey, was there just open to?
So on all of my listings, in the comments I put offers received after noon on Friday will be responded to 5 p.m. Monday.
Oh, I see.
So we give ourselves through the weekend to not only field the offer, but talk with my clients. Still give them time to think about it. Right. So generally, anybody's like, "Hey, we're sending an offer. When can we get a response?" Monday at 5. Yeah. But then I don't really do the. Maybe I should. Maybe I know a lot of people do. I don't do the highest and best call. And what that is for those of you guys, like when you get multiple offers, a lot of agents will send out a notice of multiple offers, and they say get us your highest and best by Monday at 5. Right? But you've got these multiple offers that you know what's all in them. One of them might be absolute garbage, but you can use the fact that it is there to drive the other ones up. Right? And then, anyway, this goes all into the negotiation and stuff. But again, this is I limit those so they see each other, and everything that I'm doing up to now is I'm trying to sell the house. For you guys, you're trying to do this for the purpose of I am going to seem so much more experienced, so much more knowledgeable. People will want to hire me. People will want to talk to me. Okay, and then as people are heading out, if they're an unrepresented buyer, I ask them, "Hey, so what did you think about the house? Is this going to be a fit for you?" Right? Because again, I'm there to sell the house, right? And if I can tell that it's possibly not, I say, "Well, I absolutely would suggest in this market that you get an agent who knows what they're doing. Whether that's me or someone else," and I always say that, whether that's me or someone else, you need an agent that knows what they're doing, that will put you first and will fight for your money. Okay, so I'd be happy to show you, any of these other homes. There's some of these other homes that are listed right now, but they're obviously not doing open houses. Would you be interested in going and seeing any of these? Do they look like they might be a fit? So I jump right into, okay, I can tell this isn't the home. Now I'm shifting to, how can I help you then? If this isn't the home for you, how can I help you?
When you get bidding wars, is it how is that worked out? Is it just they are putting in blind bids, or is the seller agent who is, say we have buyers A, B, and C, the seller agent, are they actually calling up their agents and saying, "Hey, somebody outbid you, or are you going to up the price?" How is that worked?
So it depends. I will tell you, a lot of agents are cowards. And instead of having a conversation with their client ahead of time about, there will come times that it's beneficial for me to share info with people about your situation, about offers that we already have.
How do you share without breaking fiduciary?
So what is the I guess, what's the deciding factor as to whether you can share it or not?
Yeah.
What is it? Yeah. Your client says you can. I hate it when I call an agent and ask them, "Hey, what's the seller's timeline?" "Well, I can't share that." Well, that's not true. You can if your client says you can. You're too chicken to have that conversation with your client.
Well, that's helpful.
It absolutely is. Or when I say, you do have offers. How many do you have? "Well, I can't share that." Yeah, you can. Talk to your client and see if you can. Tell them why it's better for you to share that with us.
And sometimes it's not.
Are you that bold with them when they say that?
Depends on the agent. My favorite response though is when I've shared this in classes before. I don't ever call an agent until I've looked them up on the MLS to see what kind of volume they do. When was their last transaction? I just made an offer this morning. The listing agent, I looked her up before I called her, before I drafted it or anything. She's got one active listing. She's closed 3 in the last 12 months. The last one was last July. All of them are about 400 or below. She's clearly a part-timer. So what is she going to want? Get this done. She wants to get it's been on the market for 40 days. She wants to get this done, right? So I always look that up. But my favorite go-to line when people say stuff like, well, I can't share. I go, well, that's not true. Have you just not had that conversation with your clients? That's what I say all the time. But if they're an experienced agent, that's clearly their MO. They don't do okay, this is a system for them. This is how they do it. It's different than just not knowing. A lot of agents don't share anything with you because they don't want to get in trouble. They don't know what they can share. That's why they don't. But I mean, for all of you, this is why you want to have conversations with your clients ahead of time. So the conversation I have with my sellers is, hey, there are going to come times that it is in our best interest for me to share info either about the situation that you're in or about offers that we have, how many, because I'm trying to use that info to get more, to get better things for you. So I have my clients just shoot me an email saying I have carte blanche to share whatever the hell I want. Because they know that anything I share, it's for the purpose of getting them what they want. What's that? Yeah, you need to have it in writing. Yep.
And they trust your expertise
right.
to know the difference between what will get them more.
Right.
Great.
Yeah.
Do you mind sharing the story about your one house that you did sell for $900K earlier? Like how that bidding war actually went about? Because
sure.
For $830 and then
yeah. Yeah, so we got, and again, so I knew the people that were making the offer. Because again, I'm good with names. I just am. I had them fill out the sign-in sheet. I was watching as they filled out, so I knew who it was. When we got when their agent called me and said, hey, so-and-so would like to make an offer, right? So I knew who it was. It was an older couple. They told me when they were coming through that they'd been renting for a bit. They'd sold their house, and they were trying to decide if they were going to go out of state. They decided to stay. But they were sitting on this pile of cash that, I mean, they shared too much, honestly. But that's why you get an agent. Your agent will hopefully not share as much. A lot of them do. But yeah, so I mean, I knew who they were. And again, we got 3 offers. Great. One of them was absolute garbage. They had a home to sell that wasn't listed yet. Talked to the agent about what they were going to list at. I looked it up. They were going to be listing like $80K too high, right? So that one was just, we weren't even going to consider it, okay? Because these people aren't actually serious about getting their home sold. So we're not going to do a domino effect because my client has to buy a home too. So we're under contract on a purchase, right? I'm not going to do this domino thing. So one of them just completely wrote off, except the fact that we have that offer helps these others, right? So the other one was okay. It was right at our list price, which is great. But they were asking for some concessions. They were asking for 3% for their agent. And we had planned for that. My clients had budgeted for that. But my clients wanted to list at $850. I talked them into letting me list for $835 because there were a couple homes right at $850, just over $850, that had been on the market a little bit. And when you get to those round numbers of like 800, 850, 400, 450, like that kind of thing, there are people that start and stop their searches at those numbers. So if someone limits their search to 850 and I'm at 855, there are people who my home might be perfect for and they'll miss it, right? So I wanted to be under that 850 because if you compared us to everything under 850, ours was far and away better than everything else that was out there. But also I was worried about appraisal at beyond 850. So anyway, so I got them to let me list at 835. Got that one garbage offer, got another offer that was okay. I knew these other people really wanted it. I knew that their agent told me that they hadn't made an offer on anything in like 6 months, even though they'd been looking. So the fact that we were, We were one of those. I just used that to our advantage. Again, they shared too much, and we used it against them. Just call them.
That conversation went. We have 3 total offers, 2 others that are.
So I make it seem like I'm doing them a favor.
Yeah.
I'm not negotiating. I'm helping you. So I call him like, hey. So I can tell you his first name. You'll see it once it closes. Like, hey, Scott. I just want to, like, my clients told me that I can share with you. Again, so it makes it sound like I asked specifically for you, even though I didn't. Like, hey, my clients have told me I can share with you. We do already have 2 other offers. I know your clients really want this. It's going to come down to net and no contingency. I know you guys are on home sale, so that's great, but this is going to come down to net. And we've got offers that one of them, and the one who they'd asked for concessions and stuff, right there in her email, and this like hurts me every time. Right there in her email, she's like, here's our offer. I know it's a little bit aggressive, but they are willing to come up. Dude, what the hell? Like that like pains me for their clients. Their client has no idea that their agent is just giving all their info and their leverage away.
Just showing their hand.
And that, like, honestly, you guys, like, that pisses me off that there are agents out there doing that. Their client has no idea that their agent's spending their money for them. Like, that makes me, like, literally, like, makes me mad. And then when I get an agent that won't give me any info, I also get pissed. So I guess I just get mad all around. But anyway, so like so I use that, like, hey, we've got this other offer. It's at our list price, but they have expressed that they're ready to come up. So he takes that back to his client, like, hey, how bad do we want this thing?
How much bidding back and forth?
He called me back and he goes, hey, does 900 do it? And I was like, it might. Let me talk to my clients. He's like, okay, let me see what else we can tweak. And then came back with, hey, my buyers will also pay my commission.
What's the most you've seen, like, especially during the bidding wars, back and forth?
Oh, like counters?
Yeah.
I mean, during the bidding wars, there weren't a ton of counters going on because if you were the listing agent, you were like, all right, bring me all the food and wine, right? Like you're like the king, field my 27 offers and then go back to a few of them like, hey, you got to match all this stuff. Generally, in those days, I generally didn't draft a counter. I went back to the agent, was like, hey, you need to draft up an addendum and send it to me. Because then we've got all these addenda sitting and we just get to pick one and sign it.
Did the house appraise for $900K?
They waived appraisal.
Wow.
No freaking way.
Okay.
Yeah. They didn't go cash, but they waived appraisal.
That's wild. So
And I think, but I also think they got an appraisal waiver because they were putting like a buttload of cash down.
Yeah.
So they probably got an appraisal waiver.
Yeah, and they can.
And they're older. They're like never planning to move out of this house. So it matters less to them. So anyway, do you guys have any questions about like the open house part of this yet? I guess to this point.
So you're obviously very experienced. You've been doing this for a while, and we aren't. And so, well, I can say
Cameron's done it a lot longer than I have.
I just want to know what were some of the mistakes that you made early on that you learned from that maybe benefit us.
For sure. So first off, like as it relates to what we're talking about today, like I viewed open houses the first couple years. The open house is a way for me to get more business. That's the way I looked at it, and I got no business from open houses. And it wasn't until I sort of started shifting to this mentality of, okay, I'm here to sell the house. I'm here to give a great experience for people that come through, whether they are my client or not, whether they end up being my client or not. When I went to sort of this approach to open it, everything is much lower pressure. The walls come down. People feel more relaxed because I'm more relaxed. I don't have this like nervous energy if I got to get a client, right? So it's just very different. So that's part of it. And I know that, and I've said this before, I know that it's really easy to not be urgent when you've got business rolling in. I'm aware of that, right? But if you can somehow like fake it till you make it kind of thing, right? And just make yourself act in a way that presents the you need me more than I need you. And that's sort of like the vibe that I try to give off to everybody is I've got business. you don't have me. You need me, kind of thing. I'll be okay without your business, but you're not okay without me. And I mean, obviously that comes with time. Now, you've been in the industry a long time. You have a lot of knowledge, right? That can really serve people well. I would absolutely leverage that. Like, hey, I've done this a long time. I know what I'm doing. You need me, kind of attitude.
With that, you've got to know that someone that walks through this open house has no problem walking through another open house the second that they leave that house.
Yep.
And so they now have.
And they probably are.
Yeah. And they might do 3, 4, 5 in a day. That would be clear. So you are not the only person that they are going to meet with. And so if you are like everyone else out there, you aren't going to get great results.
Yep.
But if you are better or different or have an offer or something that can get that client or you get that offer for you, whatever, then you are going to be the one that they call or that they pick up your phone call when you call.
Yeah. There are a few things that, thank you for reminding me. I had this on my list and I forgot to get to it. For someone that is clearly interested in your help, okay, or open to it, right? Someone that doesn't have an agent, or, oh, by the way, when you ask someone if they have an agent and they say yes, ask them who it is. Don't just let it go from there. Oh, really? Who's your agent? I would say probably 30 to 40% of the time they start because they were lying. Okay, so that's first and foremost. Second, oh, well, it's my aunt. Like, okay, great, awesome. Your aunt loves you and will put your interests first, which is great. But more than just someone who cares about you and will put your needs ahead of their own, you need someone who's actually able to go out and get you what you need. Right? There are plenty, and I've talked about this before too. Right now, as an agent who has done no business or is new, you've closed one transaction, what's your sales pitch to people? Right? Like, why would people hire you? I've had people say, well, no one's going to care about them more than I do. Well, that's not true. There are lots of agents that'll care about them. You don't know that you'll care about them more, but also caring about them doesn't do anything for them. If you can't get the job done, then caring didn't do anything, right? So you've got to be able to like pitch skills to these people. So when I say, hey, okay, great, you do have an agent. Who is it? Oh, it's my aunt. Awesome. You want someone who cares about you. You also need to make sure that it's someone who can actually represent you and negotiate on your behalf. Do you mind if I ask, like, is she full-time? Do you know how much business she does? Someone who's done 3 transactions in the last year, do you think they're equipped to tell you what you can get in today's market and how to make it happen? They're just not.
She did an open house.
Right? Yeah. Or at least her own. She maybe is sitting open houses for other people and not getting any business from it. Right? But so that's something I ask people all the time. Okay. And that like sort of like, you kind of see light bulbs go off a little bit. People like, okay, yeah, you're right. And that's where I was saying a lot of people that used to pick up 1 and 2 and 3 business or transactions a year, like a little bit business here and there. A lot of them that dried up for them the last couple of years because people are being pickier about who they hire, as they should be when the market gets tough. Okay. But when I can tell there's some sort of like, maybe they would hire me, right? Maybe they're open to be like, hey, I'll tell you what, you don't have to like hire who you want to hire. Interview agents if you want to do that, you should. Know what people are going to bring to the table. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make your life a little bit easier. Have you been mostly searching on Zillow and Realtor.com and stuff? You have? Okay, cool. I'm going to send you an invite to use the MLS. This is what realtors use. And I will open up my phone and I'll do it right there in front of them as they're standing there. You don't have to do anything with me if you don't want to, but this is going to allow you to search like a realtor.
I like how you say that.
What?
Search like a realtor.
Yeah.
That's powerful. That's like, why would I ever go to Zillow again?
And the follow-up to that is I bring up Zillow, like sites like Zillow, they're pulling their info from the MLS anyway. And I have had, and I don't know if you've seen this too, I've had there be like disconnect between the MLS and Zillow Realtor. I've had homes I've listed that didn't show up for a day or two on Zillow or Realtor. I've had sometimes the info doesn't pull across correctly. What's that?
Zillow is often 5 days behind.
I mean, like sometimes there's a bit of a disconnect to be like, hey, if you're searching there and the perfect home is listed, you might miss it because it didn't show up. And now they're already under contract. It's happened a bunch of times. Okay. So I will stand there and I will send them the invite to the MLS. Hey, this is going to allow you to search like a realtor because this is what realtors actually use to list homes and search for homes. Right? This is built for realtors. I'll give you access. Okay, that's the first thing I will do right then. And then what I do is I say, and I mean, so clearly this home checks some of your boxes. What are the rest of your boxes? I'll just shoot you a list of some homes. You can browse through. If you want to go see any of them, let me know. I'm happy to go and show them to you. And again, there's like no commitment or anything from you to just talk. You're not going to get like locked into anything. Luckily, and I say this all the time too, like luckily I'm busy. If you decide that, you don't want a realtor, you want to represent yourself, you want to hire someone else, that's totally fine. If I can make your life a little bit easier, then let's do that. And you guys,
You do that without a pre-qual letter?
sending them homes?
You just go take them around without?
No, I'm talking about sending them homes to look at.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
But what if they want to go look at it? You haven't got a pre-qual letter.
So I mean, like generally, like the script that you should stick to is one where you're covering your butt and abiding by the laws that we've got in place, right? Like, hey, so we want to go see us, great. I do have to have you sign a buyer broker agreement. Just let me show this to you. That covers me. That protects you. But ultimately, I'm in this to build a long-term business. If there's concerns or you just decide Cody's an idiot and I don't want to work with him anymore, then tell me. I'm not going to keep you in an agreement you don't want to be in. That's not good for me. It hurts my reputation. I'm not willing to keep someone in an agreement they don't want to be in.
I think she was asking about the pre-qual letter, like the loan.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about like a buyer broker.
No, it's like to find out.
Oh, but pre-qual? Oh, I'll show him a home. I'll go out with him one time without a pre-qual. Yeah.
Just one.
Yeah, one time.
One house or one time?
One visit.
Oh, okay.
Whether it's one home, two homes, three homes, whatever. I'll go out with him one time without a pre-qual.
I remember when I first started, I had a few that could just file bankruptcy. I had no idea they could not qualify for a home.
But
I learned my lesson. I didn't always ask for a pre-qual, but I asked more questions.
so I understand where you're coming from. However, let me just tell you how this comes across to a buyer. You're trying to make sure you're not wasting your time with me. And that buyer, whether they're able to buy a home or not, can turn into referrals from me. I'll spend an hour showing you a home or two because now you're another person I can put in my sphere. You're another person I can keep up with every now and again, and I can tap you for referrals. And now I get a chance walking through homes with you to show you what I bring to the table. You're going to hear the things I point out. You're going to hear me talk about my negotiating strategy as we walk through the home. You're going to hear me tell you about things I've made happen for other buyers recently and how we've just raked sellers across the coals and gotten everything we wanted. And you're going to be like, damn it. Even if I can't buy right now, this is going to be the guy. And oh, you know what? My sister is looking right now too. I think I've mentioned, I have buyers, or I guess people in my sphere who they're just never going to be in a position to buy a home because they're idiots. They don't manage their finances well. They don't make good decisions, but I love them. And they send me a lot of business. And some of them I've taken and shown homes. It's a small price to pay. But again, I sort of deal in I don't view any of it really as like a waste of my time. Because if nothing else, I'm adding more people that I know. I'm adding more people that I like. And I'm getting to spend time doing what I like to do with the people that I enjoy being with. So it all comes back. Okay. But
when you get them into a buyer broker agreement, kind of giving them an out. Say if you don't really want to work with me, you're not locked into that.
by the way, I've only ever had one person ask out. And it was because they found out that their brother-in-law had his license, and they made a big, like that brother-in-law made this big stink about, like, they knew that it was going to be hell if they didn't use their brother-in-law. Now, on the flip side of that, I have 3 clients under contract right now who have immediate family members who have their license. And they're like, please don't post this on social media. They can't know. I haven't posted in social media in a year, so.
Yeah, I keep in contact with people that are like, oh yeah, my brother is an agent or whatever.
Yep.
You know, that doesn't matter.
It doesn't mean anything.
You don't know how close they are. You don't know if they're a good agent or not. If they're still going to be an agent when they're ready to buy.
Right.
So I keep in contact with those people constantly.
Yeah.
Send them houses if I can, whatever.
Absolutely. And I mean, I've got people who, like, they have an agent, right? Like my mom, my brother, whatever, like they've got, like, this is their person. And then maybe it's even like a full-time producing agent. And some of those people, I still let them borrow my Top Golf Pass and go. Like, I still treat them like they're one of my clients. And, like, occasionally I'll get like a referral from them. Their brother doesn't know that they had a friend that needed a realtor and they sent to me. Their brother will know if they buy something with somebody else. So, okay, so but that first thing I do is I send that invite to the MLS, right? If you don't know how to do that, stay after, I'll show you how. But it's really easy to do. I send them the invite, and then I offer to send them a few homes. And I, like, again, like, as they tell me what they're looking for, I have my laptop right there. I told you I have my laptop there on the kitchen counter. I'll run the search. They tell me what they're looking for. I'll run it right then, and I'll shoot it to them. Like, well, I'll do all of this right then, okay? And then always follow up Monday, okay? Open houses are on the weekend. And like I said, I follow up even if they tell me they have an agent. Even if they did the sign-in and checked that they have an agent, I will follow up with them on Monday. But why am I following up? I'm not following up to pick them up as a client. I'm following up about this house that you came into, through the open house. I follow up Monday, say, hey, I hope you had an awesome weekend. I didn't want to bug you. I was just calling to see if you had any questions about this home that you saw. Remind me again who your agent was. I don't remember. And a lot of times they don't have. Well, we have someone we would, we were thinking maybe we'd use, but we aren't sure if we'd use them now. Yeah, you're full of it. You don't actually have an agent. Okay. But a lot of times that's why I do this. Okay. Because a lot of times that's just their standard canned response, because they think the reason you're there at the open house is to try to get them as a client. They haven't gotten to interact with you yet. They don't know that you're good at what you do, that you care about your clients, all that kind of stuff yet. Okay. But these are the things I do every single time someone seems open to a little bit of like this interaction and relationship. Okay? Questions, concerns, ideas? Cameron, any extra feedback?
Past the Monday follow-up, do you do anything more than
Yes, but that's usually because one of a few things happens. Either they have their realtor and they give me his name and whatever, right? So now I'm backing off. They for sure have somebody. Or they are just, there's some of those people are just like very sort of like cold, shut it down pretty quickly kind of people, right? So I'm not in the business of annoying people. So I ask them at this point, like, great, well, is there, like, what can I do for you? Like, what can I do to make your life easier? I know that you said you're sort of like casually looking. Would you like me to send you homes every now and then? Do you want me to send you like new listings that pop up? Like, what do you want from me? I sort of like leave it up to them to dictate how I'm going to interact with them. But I would say probably a third of the time, if these things all happened, they end up becoming my client. We're looking at homes the next week.
Since the market has shifted and obviously buyers are having a lot more like negotiation power against sellers, what do you do?
Not true. They think they have more negotiation power.
Well, it's obvious that it's not 2020 and people aren't getting 27 offers. Like,
Totally.
so,
But what
so
I'm running into lately, the reason I say that is like the last like 2 weeks, I've made probably 8 offers on homes where the seller is just, nope, if we can't get this, we're not selling.
Right. I'm just
So,
comparing it to like.
oh yeah, you're comparing it to the craze.
I'm comparing
Yeah,
it to the craze.
totally.
It's like, which it's black and white that it's not that anymore.
Totally. Yep.
Do you still like? How do I say? It's like do you still like find that you get multiple offers from doing open houses this way all the time? Or
No. I mean, multiple offers like are still a fairly rare scenario.
Yeah. That was my question. Because I mean, obviously, this is an amazing way to do an open house, and it does do the.
Well, this is just like always operate with like the best outcome as your goal, right? Yeah. So like, I mean, I did like I said not last Saturday, Saturday before, I did 2 open houses, right? One in Santa Quinn. It generated 1 offer that they ended up not liking the agent that made that offer, and they called me, and now I made an offer for them as well, right? On a different house. Now that house is still unsold. And then the other open house that I did up in Highland, it was just a townhome. I only had three people come through, right? So like, it is what it is. I only had 3 people come through that one. None of them were ready to make offers, but one of them came back again later with their agent and saw it again. I saw that she scheduled it, followed up with her. They like it. They're still thinking about what they want to do, but it's been 2 weeks and we don't have any offers on it yet. And that's not true. We got an offer that was significantly lower, but this was another one. So we're listed at $489, got an offer at $450. The second it hits my inbox, I get a call from that agent. She says, "Hey, Cody, I just want to apologize for her offer off the bat. I've worked with her before. This is just how she operates. She always comes low, but please, like, counter us back at wherever you need to be." Like, just one of those, right? Like, so we countered them back like a hair below what we were listed at, because my client doesn't have to sell either. He can rent and cash flow really well. But she like just told us, and now it didn't end up. Her client was willing to come up some, not to a point that worked for my seller, which is fine. But please don't ever do that. Seriously, like, you're just not taking care of your clients at all if you're doing that. So we did get an offer, didn't work out, but and that was someone that did come through the open house. So, but they came through the open house with their agent.
Awesome. So,
but yeah, this isn't like the norm, right? Like, don't expect multiple offers. Don't expect 27 groups of people. I would say right now, what would you say? I don't know when last time you didn't open houses. I would say right now, if you get like 7 or 8 groups of people through the house in 2 hours, that's a good open house.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that, because like, I don't want somebody to do an open house and feel like they were a failure because they didn't have like 10 people come through.
No, and I'm sorry if that, like I said, this one I told you about it because it is like an aberration, right?
It does happen.
It happened last weekend for one of the new agents. They had 27 people through.
That's awesome.
They had 3 hours off. 27
Yeah.
people.
And again, I like to shorten them because people will adjust. If they like the listing the way it looks, they'll come in a 2-hour window, and you've saved an hour of your time, quote unquote. But more importantly, they've seen each other. They're more likely to see each other there if you did 2 hours rather than 3.
At that condo that had the low offer, did you contact the other people that you knew were interested in saying, "Hey, we just got an offer"?
Yeah, I just like, and I do it like, I try to kind of just keep them posted, right? Like, I make it seem like I'm just, hey, just want to make sure you're in the loop. Got this other offer. We're going back and forth a little bit. Because and again, keep like, put yourself in the shoes of the buyer's agent. You would appreciate that kind of heads up. And it doesn't necessarily seem, there are ways that you can do it that seems like it's clearly not a good offer. So you're hoping that someone else offers better, right? But there are ways to do it where you're like, hey, don't know how your clients are feeling about it. Just want to keep you posted. We did get an offer on this one if you guys were interested.
Hey, Cody, if you were, like sitting in the side of the classroom, didn't have a listing and wanted open houses to be part of your strategy, how would you go about picking open houses? Is there any?
Dude, yes.
You would be looking for?
Yes.
Whatever on the opportunities channel.
So here's everyone, like, new agents always, they look at like, oh man, I want to go do the open house on this $1 million listing because people that come through, like they're shopping for a home at that price. I can make a lot of commission. Like the likelihood they have a go-to realtor they've already worked with in the past is so much higher. So you're less likely to get an unrepresented buyer. And right now, the starter home price range, that's what's making everything go. Right? Those are the ones that seem to be moving best, in my opinion. Like I would say, with what I've got under contract, I think I'll be at like 23 transactions by the end of June for the year. And I would say over half of them are under 550. I'm doing a lot of first-time buyers right now. That's who's active. People who've been waiting for 3 years to buy and they've been renting the whole time. Nothing's changed. Rates haven't come down. Prices haven't come down. They're like, F it. Let's just go out and find something. Okay, so that's where I would be doing open houses. I would be doing open houses in starter home price range. Now, whether that's a single family home that's at 550 or whether that's a townhome at 425 or whatever, that's where I would be spending my time personally. So price range, I would stick to starter homes personally. Don't do an open house on something that's been on the market for a few weeks. If something's already been on the market for a little while and they're wanting to do another open house, you should only consider it if, in my opinion, if they've done a drastic price drop in the last day or so. If someone, posts on the app, hey, who wants an open house on this listing? It's Tuesday. Nothing has changed about the listing, but they're doing another open house. It's been on the market for 45 days. Don't go do that open house. Make the listing agent do that open house. They've got to get the home sold. Did you have anything else, Cameron, like input-wise on that? Do you disagree? I hate them. Yeah.
Hate them in general. I hate them as far as
Open houses. Yeah, open houses.
Yeah, they seem to not do very well.
They don't.
I don't know why.
I don't know either, but my open houses at condos never seem to pan out.
Townhomes work well.
Mm.
Single families work well. Condos don't.
Yeah, and I don't really know why that is. Even when you've adjusted the price for it to where it should do well, it doesn't seem like open house condos or condo open houses do super well.
I have heard rare stories of people doing open houses and getting a great client, like cash buyers for condos and stuff like that, and closing deals. But
yeah,
that's not the norm.
No.
Fewer people coming through.
Yeah. So the one there was one that I did like a year and a half ago, a condo in PG, that one went really well. But there were 4 other condos listed in that complex. And I called all those agents and we all coordinated and did an open house at the same time. So people were able to come and hit 5 condo listings in the same complex in the same window.
How many of them sold?
All 5 sold, but some of them weren't priced as well as they should have been. Some of them were a little bit too optimistic, I think. Ours got sold. So that one I'd had on the market for like 2 weeks when we did this open house where I called them all and said, hey, let's just all do one together, basically. And that we got a buyer from that weekend.
That's great, especially if you're the best priced.
Exactly. So we coordinated the open house and then we did a price drop on Thursday. So, but again, like this is strategy, right? Like my wife owns a jewelry business and someone that used to be her best friend, they're not anymore because of this, went out and started basically a competing business using all of my wife's contacts. And they had been best friends for years. So her best friend knew all of her like business info basically. They're not friends anymore. But when they end up like in the same store or the same market or something like that, like instantly my wife adjusts pricing because she's selling very similar stuff. So you're out to sell this home. How are you going to do it when there's others available at similar price range or something like that? So I've got one I just dropped the price on this morning, this listing down in Santa Quin. Home 3 doors down just dropped their price to match ours. So we dropped a hair below, but also we have paid off solar. So it still is a better scenario at the same price, but now we're at an even cheaper price. And I adjusted the listing photo to where across the front it says free solar panels, like big letters right on the listing photo, like the main one. But you got to figure something out, right? But when it comes to like open houses and stuff like that, you're trying to get the home sold. But if you're sitting in open house, you want to make sure there's some reason people would be coming to this before you're going to spend your Saturday going and doing that open house. And then if you're doing an open house for someone else, be on time and be prepared. Okay, because you're still a reflection of the listing agent who is allowing you, because that's what it is. They are allowing you to do an open house in their listing. Yes, you're. What's that? So technically, no, you can't do a listing for other brokerages. Right. Yeah. So you. Yeah. Well, but even then, you're supposed to have something signed by the seller that allows you to. Yeah.
The seller and the listing agent have to give you permission.
If it's at another brokerage.
No, just like an email.
Yeah. Yeah, if it's from another brokerage, yeah. But anything within our brokerage, you're fine, because technically they're all represented by Dean. Just listing agent, he should be good.
We do have. There's a small brokerage. I can't remember what they're called, but they constantly need people for open houses that they text me. And so like someone's doing one this weekend for them, and so they have like a written, like they've done it a whole bunch, and they'll send out an email and permission from the seller.
But there are brokerages that straight up say no. Mike Carmody up in South Valley, he straight up says no. You cannot show homes for agents that are not at South Valley. You can't do open houses for agents that aren't in South Valley. But that doesn't matter. They're all individual. We're all independently owned and operated, and we have our own broker. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, you guys. If you have additional questions or something like that, feel free to stay after or something like that. Oh, like the MLS invite? Yeah.
You can mirror your phone.
Well, I've already got it pulled up. Yeah. Like I said, I have the MLS opened up on my laptop anyway when I'm doing an open house. So I like to do it from here. Okay, so you're just going to go up here to clients, client manager.
No, once you pass.
Yeah, so clients and client manager. So here it's showing you John Kilpack favorited some homes. Going to go show him those tomorrow. Okay, you're going to go here, add new client. And all you need is first name, last name, and email. That's all I put in.
Wait, start over. I was pulling it up.
It's okay. At the top, there's client. Okay. And then you're going to click client manager. Okay. And then in the top left, you'll see add new client. Got it. And it sends you the email when you send it, saying that the invite has been sent. And then if they accept it, and here's my favorite part. So for my own clients, the way I get them off of Zillow and Realtor.com is by what I'm going to tell you now. But if it's not someone that is your client, I don't say this. Okay, so if it's not someone that you're sure wants to use you, this is not something that I would say, because sometimes it can seem a little creepy. So you see, I can see all the homes he's favorited, right? That's a pitch for me to my own clients. Say, hey, can I ask a favor? Remind me your name? Kyle. Kyle, can I ask you a favor? Can you please stop using Zillow and Realtor.com? Okay, and here's the reason. First off, they're selling your info. Okay, did you know that? That they sell leads to realtors. Like me, I buy leads from Realtor.com. When you favorite stuff, I'm getting that from Realtor.com. Zillow does the same thing. So your phone's going to blow up. People are going to be calling you trying to so that's the first reason I wouldn't use them, is they're selling your info. Second reason is, now that we're looking for homes and you've told me what you want, sometimes what people tell me they want and what they actually like, it's not the same thing. So the homes they're favoriting don't actually meet the criteria they've given me to search. And that's frustrating, because sometimes you won't realize why you don't like the homes I'm sending you. So you think I'm an idiot when I'm just sending you the things you asked for. So I'll send you this invite. If you will search on here and favorite here, that will help this process so much because it shows me the things you favorited. And that's good for you because I will notice quicker than you will that the homes you like aren't the homes that you told me to search for. And the faster we can work through that and figure out where the disconnect is, the less frustration you're going to experience and the quicker we can get to a solution.
When they get the invite, they give their email, do they just accept it and then?
So they just create a login. Yeah, like they just click on it and it has them create a password.
Oh, okay.
And it's just automatically connected to you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm able to.
So here's the other reason I like this. There are sometimes that this doesn't work out. They find out they can't buy a home right now. Or they're like, oh, this is frustrating. I'm going to wait a little while. Then 6 months down the road, ding, you get a notification they've favorited a home. You're like,
Because they've been playing.
oh yeah, we're back in. And then I'll give it like a day or two. And then I'll just randomly text them or call them and be like, hey, hope you guys are doing well. The weather's been awesome. Do you want to use my Top Golf Pass sometime soon? Every time they're like, actually, we just started looking at homes online again. I'm like, no way.
Okay, so how do you figure out? So this guy in front of you, John. So what if he says that he's more into colonials, but he starts sending you all these things?
Oh, generally people don't get that specific with me. I generally don't ask that specific because if they're like, I want a Cape Cod style. Okay, you want one of the 9 in Utah?
Yeah.
You know.
So how do you figure out?
So the reason that
if what they actually want is different than what they actually say.
okay, so what people like there are people who will tell you, okay, we want to be in this area, or like we want to be within 10 minutes of our kids' school. Okay? But then the homes they're favoriting are like in frickin' Saratoga.
Hey, that's what happened to me.
So you want to ask, like, and hopefully you can tell, like, I'm open, I'm blunt with people, not like a way that's going to piss them off or be rude. Like, I'm trying to help you by addressing this quicker, right? Like, this is you getting frustrated makes it a bad experience for you, which makes you associate me with a bad experience, even though this isn't my fault. You're the one who hasn't nailed down what you actually want, right? So I'm going to help you work through that faster because it helps you see me in a better light when it's all said and done. So, but also, like, if we can avoid you being frustrated, let's do that. So say, hey, Kyle, just wanted to follow up with you real quick. You told me we wanted to be within 10 minutes of the school. I noticed you've been favoriting some homes in Saratoga. Is that just because you like the style of home and want to be able to show it to your wife? That you like something about it and that's what you're looking for? Or are we actually open to Saratoga? Because if we're actually open to Saratoga, that opens a bunch of possibilities that we've been missing. That kind of thing. Or they say we want to keep it below 500 and they're favoriting homes at like 560. Okay. Are you just like favoriting it so you can keep an eye on it and see if it comes down? Because if that's the case, then let's just go see it and make an offer anyway. If you like it, if it'll come down, let's see if we can get it down. You know, the list price is just the list price. It's not necessarily what you'd have to pay to get it. I mean, you guys, like I've shared with you, last year, my buyers, we averaged 9.8% below list price in terms of price reduction and concessions combined. That was the average. List price isn't the price they're going to sell it for all the time. Now, I was mentioning here, like lately I've run into a ton of sellers who they won't budge. But it's because they don't have to sell. They're like, I'll sell if I can get ... But generally, the longer their home's on the market, they start to get a little bit of, well, we were planning to sell. So maybe they'll start to adjust and you can come back to them or something. But anyway, that's why I like being able to see this, is I can follow up with them. Hey, where's the disconnect? And here's something I want to show you guys. You'll have clients who, this will be super helpful. And again, this is something you can pitch to these people to use the MLS and to let you connect with them is, hey, when you say, Judd, let's say, oh, I need to be within 20-minute drive to work. Okay. How is that affecting your search radius?
It could be a wild search radius.
So generally like, okay, well, 20 minutes, I'll search within 10 miles. Okay. But 10 miles in this direction is way longer than 20 minutes to work for you. And 20 miles in this direction is still within 20 minutes of work for you. So how do you adjust? So what you want to show them is, okay, I'm going to look for active homes. You see this car right here? I want to look within, it's going to come up. It usually comes up with some options address-wise. Okay, I want to be within 20 minutes with an arrival time of 8 o'clock a.m. Watch this map. Oh, you can't really see the yellow. But do you see how it kind of sticks out this way, swoops back in? Okay, this takes traffic patterns into account. This is awesome. Because people will tell you the commute time they need to kids' school or whatever. This is super cool. And there are agents who've been licensed a long freaking time and don't use this. Because people will tell you, oh, we want to look anywhere in Lehigh. Okay, tell me why Lehigh. Well, we want to be close to this. Okay, how close? Drive time. Give me drive time. How close do we need to be? Because if you want to be within 10 minutes of this thing, that's not limiting us to Lehigh. It's limiting us to specific parts of Highland, specific parts of American Fork. Not all of American Fork, but parts of it. And if you tell me 20 minutes, I'm pushing this to 25. Because if the perfect home checks every box is 23 minutes, you're really telling me you don't want to at least see it and decide if you'd be open to considering that extra 3 minutes?
It's fantastic.
I got a question about open houses. That's cool.
Yeah, oh yeah, I guess that's why we're here, huh?
Yeah. If I'm doing an open house for a listing agent, I shouldn't have to worry about clients cleaning up their house, taking their dogs away.
Shouldn't have to? No, you shouldn't have to.
Right, yeah.
But
Does it happen?
yeah. So I went to do an open house, and you know where White City is? It's like this little portion of Sandy. It's technically Sandy. It's kind of
Technically,
what's that?
so it's technically White City, but yes, it's insane.
I mean, but the addresses, a lot of the White City addresses still say Sandy on like the mailing address. It's weird.
It's actually city.
No, it's an unincorporated part of the county that's
Yeah.
covered by it.
But the addresses are Sandy addresses. Yeah. So I did an open house in White City, and I walked, like the second the door opened, I just was smacked in the face by this overwhelming smell of dog piss. Just awful. So I called the listing agent. This is when I was new. I called the listing agent. I'm like, Kev, dude, like I can't. Like no one's gonna come through here. No one's gonna. He's like, what's wrong? He hadn't been in the house since they'd listed it, and they had two big boxers that had a designated. The owner knew they have a designated corner in the room. They pee right there. That's where they pee. That's just where they go. And I told him, like, all right, well, I'm canceling the open house, dude. You don't want people coming through with it like this. So, yeah, I mean, he agreed with me. He didn't know, right? Like, he agreed with me.
Yeah, that was actually something I was going to ask about too. Was like I've been in so many homes that are just complete trash,
Mhm.
and I think White City is a great example of places like that.
It
All
is.
over Salt Lake, too.
Kearns.
West
Yep.
Valley. Is there like a checklist that you send people as they're preparing to list their home? Do you send them a checklist saying these are things that we need you to do to get your home in shape for us to do open houses and all this other stuff? Is that something?
I don't send it to him. So I mean, everything I do for the most part is face to face or voice to voice, right? Like business is done belly to belly is like that's always been my mentality. So I go to their house, right? I'm going for the photos anyway. Don't just send your photographer, and like unless like there's a reason you can't be there at the time that it has to happen, right? Like I go there for the photos, so I make sure the photos look great because I'm there. I'm moving things around, all that kind of stuff for photos. But also after the photos, I recap what's about to happen. So photos were like Monday, Tuesday. Okay, great. Okay, so just want to remind you. So we're going to have this up tomorrow night or Thursday morning. If it's like Tuesday for photos, okay, I'm going to have these up tomorrow night or Thursday morning. Okay, I'm going to block out showings. We're not going to allow anything to the open house. The open house is going to start at 11. I need you gone at 10:15. Okay, so it needs to look like it looks right now. It needs to smell like it smells right now. Right? Make sure the kitchen counters are cleaned, all that kind of stuff. Most people you don't have to say this to. And the people that you do have to say it to, you got to be like pretty, hey, I need you to make sure that we're not, like the couch isn't covered in dog hair. Right? Like that can't happen. Right? We're trying to make as much money as you can. I need you to help me do that. So I run through that list like face to face with them. And if something smells bad, I'll tell them. Like, hey, the basement living room smells awful. So I'm going to send my carpet cleaner. And this is why I charge 3%. Like, I'm going to send my carpet cleaner. I'll take care of it. But whatever's been going on down there needs to stop. So I had to say this to a client whose boyfriend, it was her house. Her boyfriend kept smoking weed in the basement. And he still didn't stop even after we listed it. And then finally, after like 4 or 5 showings in a row where someone mentioned how stinky the basement was, I called him directly. I'm like, Levi, no more, dude. No more. And you got to stop standing on the front sidewalk and staring at the house while people are there seeing it. He was doing that too. But again, these people are idiots. They can't get out of their own way. So you've got to make them do it.
Top golf pass for the day. It's like, yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, that one was unfortunately was like way up in East Cottonwood Heights, and he didn't have a working car, which is why he would just stand there and stare at the house. He didn't work. Just anyway. But yeah, like there are times when it's really inconvenient for people to leave for a whole day. And so if that's the case, like I have clients who have little kids, they don't have family in the area, they don't have somewhere to go. So I'll like, hey, let me give you my Top Golf pass and buy you guys tickets to go to the movie theater right there by Top Golf and Vineyard. So I'll take care of them, right? Like you're paying me 3%. I can spend some money to make this painless on you, as painless as I can make it. So.
Do you ever just like ozone bomb a house?
I don't know what ozone is. No.
I'm gonna change your life right now. Okay. There's something called an ozone machine. Okay. They use it in cars. If somebody smokes in cars, I know because I have like a churro business where I rent cars out. Somebody smokes in it. You run it in there in the room for a couple of hours, and it will remove all odors.
Oh, interesting.
From
also
carpet,
kills every single bug.
Because it's what is this O3? It's not O2. It's not oxygen. It's ozone, and the molecules will take the odor, take it out. You got to be out of the house, and then you have to ventilate it really good. But as soon as you
got to be out of the whole house for it to operate in one room.
No, if
you sealed the room up.
If you sealed the room up, or just even shut the door,
will you shoot me like a link to it?
Yeah.
It'd be awesome.
They're not expensive.
And I have a bunch of. By the way, I have also like whole home air fresheners. You stick them in the furnace on the furnace filter, so it goes through all the ductwork and everything too. Those are great because they're not going to be super strong. But it gives like a sort of like just a pleasant smell to the house.
You run it in there for 4 hours? No, you run it in there for 4 hours. You open the windows, the odor is gone.
What if you've got
That's
like
awesome.
a situation with cats? The cats are the worst.
Kill them.
Cats are bad.
Like it gets into the cat.
Spawn of Satan.
If there's like residue inside of like carpets and stuff like that.
Yeah, carpet pad. It's not going to do anything about urine in a carpet pad. And sometimes you get the carpet cleaned, all it does is it brings that urine smell to the top of the carpet out of the pad.
Yeah. I would try it.
It'll temporarily disperse or like get rid of that odor for I think it's 3 months or something like that.
Okay, so it's an extended period.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because if it's like a really strong odor but something's permanent, I think it gets rid of it for like somewhere around 3 months.
Okay, cool. How expensive is it?
It's a machine. You literally just plug it in.
No, I know, but how expensive is it?
The machine?
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's like maybe
Oh, okay. Cool. Good enough.
I have a question. So you open up on it, the smell's gone for 3 months, the new family moves in, a month later, it starts to stink. What happens?
Buyer beware. I mean, that's like saying I take my air freshener out of the kitchen when we move.
Okay, so
you know what I mean?
For $40 on Amazon, that was probably a really small one.
We could play for our house.
$220. It's
We
probably
got
gonna
paid
be
every
better.
night.
There's a big one here for $500. That's probably going to be what you want for like a house or a room.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, I never even heard of that. Okay, you guys, good luck. Go crush it.
Are you teaching any more classes?
I don't know. I don't have any scheduled, but they also